Kia ora and namaste, everyone. Today I'm going to read this rather special book called The Bird with Golden Wings Stories of Wit and Magic by Sudha Murty. I quite enjoy reading books from all around the world because I feel it really enriches you and your knowledge about different cultures, of people, places, of different things. And I think it's so important to widen your horizons and know about different cultures and really understand. So, the story is on page 35. The Bird with Golden Wings. Varsha lived with her mother, who worked as a cook in a rich man's house. Every evening, her mother returned from work with a little rice, which she would then cook for herself and her daughter. Varsha and her mother lived happily enough, satisfied with what they had. One evening, Varsha's mother brought home some extra rice. Before leaving the next morning, she cleaned it and spread it on a mat to dry in the terrace. Then she called Varsha and said, "Sit here and see that no bird pecks at the rice. I will cook this for us when I return in the evening." Varsha sat down by the rice with a little stick in her hand. After a while, a tiny sparrow came hopping by. It looked hungrily at the grains. Varsha took pity on it and gave it a few grains. The bird ate those and flew away. Then an old crow came and cawed loudly beside her. "I'm hungry," it seemed to say. So Varsha gave it some grains too, and it flew away after eating them. Then the strangest thing happened. A big bird with shining golden wings came and perched next to her. It was clearly very old. Ooh, that's the big golden bird. The bird looked at the rice spread out on the mat. Then it spoke in a beautiful voice. "Will you give me some rice too?" Varsha was very surprised. "Go ahead," she said, "but take only a few grains, or else my mother will scold me." The old bird hopped forward and in an instant gulped down all the rice. Varsha looked in dismay at the empty mat. What would her mother say? "Why did you do that?" she asked the bird. It bent its head and said softly, "I'm sorry, I was hungry and could not stop myself. But don't worry, come with me to my house in the big banyan tree, and I'll give you something which will make your mother forget her anger." The banyan tree was just outside the village, and it was nearly evening. Varsha was scared, but she knew she would have to go so her mother would have something to eat when she returned home after a hard day's work. She went with the bird. When they reached the tree, Varsha saw that there was a golden house on top of the tree. How strange! She had not noticed that before, she thought. The bird spread out its long golden wings and flew easily to the house at the top of the tree. But how would Varsha reach there? The bird called down, "Tell me, what kind of ladder do you want?" Varsha was puzzled. She knew of only one kind of ladder. "A light bamboo one," she called out. Out of nowhere, a sturdy ladder made of bamboo appeared before her, and she climbed up the tree. When she walked into the bird's house, she saw everything was golden. The chairs, tables, plates, and glasses were all made of gold. Wow! Varsha sat on a golden chair, and the bird said, "You must be hungry. I will give you something to eat. Tell me, what kind of plate would you like to eat from?" Varsha thought hard. She always ate from a banana leaf which her mother picked and cleaned for her. It made the food more tasty, she thought. "A banana leaf, please," she told her bird friend. In a moment, a nice green banana leaf appeared before her, full of delicious food. Varsha ate up all the food. The bird now placed 3 boxes in front of her. These boxes contain the price of the grains that I ate up. Choose any one to take back with you. Varsha was embarrassed. After all, the bird had only eaten the few grains that had been left, and besides, she had a long way to walk back home. So she pointed to the small box. Can I have this one, please? Of course. There you go, said the golden bird, handing Varsha the small box. Varsha thanked the bird many times, climbed down the ladder, and went home. There, her mother was anxiously waiting for her. Varsha told her all about her adventures, and together they opened the box. It was filled with precious stones. Now her mother would no longer need to work in the rich man's house. She could open a little shop, and whatever they earned would be enough for the two of them. The people of the village were surprised to find Varsha and her mother so well off all of a sudden. Nosy, quarrelsome Kapila was most curious and was bursting to know how her poor, simple neighbors had suddenly become rich. Unable to contain herself, she went and asked Varsha's mother, who told her the entire story. Kapila realized there was a way for her to become rich too. Next day, she sat on her terrace with a basket full of grain in front of her. When the sparrow and the crow hopped up, she shooed them away loudly. Soon the golden bird came. Kapila offered it all the rice in the basket. I want only a few grains, the bird replied. All right, interrupted Kapila rudely. But remember, you will have to pay for it. The bird agreed and invited Kapila to its house in the banyan tree. Happily, Kapila went with the bird. When she stood below the tree, the bird asked, What kind of ladder do you want? Kapila said, A golden one, of course, thinking she could take it back with her too. A golden ladder appeared before her. Kapila heaved herself up the ladder and entered the golden house. What plate do you want to eat in? Asked the bird. Obviously, golden one, Kapila said with a happy cackle. When the food came, she gobbled it all down. The bird now set before her 3 boxes and asked her to choose one as the price for the grain. Greedily, Kapila chose the largest one. She stuffed it into the bag she had brought with her, along with the plate, and without a word of thanks, she dashed down the ladder. Then she lugged the ladder all the way back home. As soon as she reached home, she pulled the plate and the box out of her bag. But the plate was now an ordinary banana leaf. She looked at the ladder. It had turned into a rickety old bamboo ladder. She opened the box. A large black cobra shot out and hissed at her. Kapila dropped everything and ran and ran. When she finally gathered up her courage and returned home many hours later, the box, the ladder, and the plate had disappeared. The bird with golden wings never appeared in the village again.